Well, good man, to on here in the WPGU 1071 and UPTV. We've got a Ferris wheel in the quad. Can you believe it?
It actually happened. I did not get on it because it was built in a day, so I didn't trust it. But it looked fun from what everyone else was, doing.
Part of a billion dollar fundraising project to have a carnival type theme going on in the quad. Quite a spectacle. James Boyd here across from me, Will Gerard, producing away, Andrew back in action, oh yes. I'm Ryan Wilson, and today we have no guest, or do we? That's Lovey Smith. Lovey Smith will be on for about 2 minutes. It's just you and I. It's just the listeners, you guys, and us. We have some Chicago Marathon stuff.
Big time stuff.
And we have some news about Jean Turnbull. She was on last week. And now she's leaving.
So we gotta get that follow-up in pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's some pressure now. But Chicago Marathon was last Sunday. After McFadden won again. 7th time in a row for Tatiana winning the Chicago Marathon. 8th time overall. Our friend Amanda McCrory coming in 2nd. Not too shabby. So Tatiana definitely needed that win because since she missed London, she took a hit in the world standings.
Yeah.
And she was not in the top 10. Now she's number 3.
It's funny how, when she competes, she just floats her way back to the top.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, can you talk just a little briefly about it, Ryan, what she and any other Illini athletes have been able to do in Paralympic sports, just as far as marathons and
Sure.
and their overall perception, because a lot of times people just think they're going to win, which they often do, but
Yeah.
it's still a race to go out there and compete in and get it done.
Yeah, so a lot of the Lucha racers here compete in marathons or different competitions like 100 meter, 200 meters, so on and so forth. And Tatiana, 17-time Paralympic medalist, 18-time, I don't know. I've lost fingers. But
Use those toes.
yeah, add some toes in there. So Tatiana, one of the best. She's won the 4 major marathons in her career. She did that. She won all of those marathons 4 consecutive years. The only athlete ever to do that, able-bodied or otherwise. She was on the show. She sat right next to me. We see that every week. She's on the wall.
We have pictures to prove it.
The thing is, it's funny because it sounds like we keep repeating ourselves, but she keeps accomplishing things. So
Right.
in a sense, we bring her up references and make jokes about it, but right after the show, obviously, and this for her entire Paralympic career, she's just been accomplishing thing after thing, and it's almost the point where you're like, how long can someone stay at the top? Because she even beat her course record.
Yeah.
She's better.
Yeah.
So,
And there was some question about how often she would compete this year, because earlier this year she had a blood clot that knocked her out for a while. The blood clot happened in February, or at least she learned of it then. She missed a marathon, and her doctor said the only way, or the main way to work through this blood clot is to exercise. And her response was, well, I'll just do more marathons. And so she missed London. She came back for Boston, made a return, got 4th place. Not the finish she wanted, I'm sure, but not a bad finish because she came back and made a return, got 4th in a big marathon.
I mean, it's worth noting, too, that Amanda McCrory had an impressive finish as well, finishing in 2nd.
Right, yeah, Amanda's been right behind Tatiana. One interesting thing that happened was that Susanna Scaroni, she won London or Tokyo, I can't remember which one, but she placed 5th in Chicago. I mean, it could be the difference in track. I know Tatiana's big on climbing uphill. She just capitalizes on that opportunity. But Tatiana's pretty good. We'll see what happens down the road. They have the New York Marathon coming up here in November. I'm sure Tatiana will be there.
Which is kind of funny because you would think that marathons would move to like a warmer climate, but
Right, yeah.
you know, New York Marathon in November.
Yeah, look at where it's cold.
Yeah, talk about mental preparation, let alone physical, but
Yeah.
that is some cold weather to be racing in.
Yeah, I would not want to do that, but they do have a lot of different outfits they wear to help them. Like Tatiana looks pretty slick with her outfit, and now she wears a visor, and the visor just looks legit.
You can wear whatever you want when you win, okay? It's like a guy in basketball
Yeah.
or soccer or football who wears all the gear. No one says anything if you get the job done. Now, if you don't, then that visor might not look as good.
That's true. Maybe I should wear a visor on here.
I know you've been getting the job done all year, so
Oh,
wear whatever you like, Ryan.
Alright, I'll bring a visor next time. I found an ice cream cone sticker right now. Just stick that on my shoes. I don't know. Will, do you want it?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll stick that on my computer or something. I don't know. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah,
We're throwing things in the
yeah. I
studio.
just whipped that to Will and it's disappeared. But yeah, so Tatiana, not too bad. Not too many races for the men's side from Illinois, but obviously on the women's side, Illinois got it done. We've been working hard leading up to Chicago. And right now, Amanda McGrory is taking over the New York City Marathon Instagram account. Probably a mistake on their end. She's a good person. So definitely some publicity on the wheelchair races, and that's something I'm always looking for. And next week, just to tease it, we're gonna do something fun with Amanda McGrory. We'll find out what that is.
Right, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But James and Will, were you surprised that Tatiana came back and got a W again?
I was not surprised that she won, per se. But I was definitely surprised that she was able to beat her course record. Because, again, she's not like the youngest person ever. She's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, 28
But,
years old.
again, she's finding new ways to maximize her potential and reach new heights. So it's just incredible for somebody to, for put that in perspective, people, she's won 8 times. 8 times at this marathon. And this most recent time, she broke her course record.
After an injury. Yeah.
Exactly. You know how hard that is to do?
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to win, but then to
Yeah.
win and then, in a sense, your only competition is the clock. To go out there and beat the clock?
Yeah.
Like, what else is there to do? But it's funny that we talked to Jean Driscoll last week and hearing about all the things she accomplished. And then, you know, Tatiana comes along and kind of like takes the torch from her and pushes it even further. So.
Yeah. And Will, were you surprised Tatiana won Chicago?
No, honestly, I'm not surprised by any success that Tatiana has just because she does it so much, as we've talked about already. I mean, she's someone who you can kind of expect to be at the front of every single race just because she's that kind of competitor, that kind of athlete where even when she's not at top health, there are really few people in the world who can keep up with her.
Right, and that's one great thing about Tatiana. She doesn't have to be healthy to be good. And I think
Yeah, and that's
but
another thing. Like,
she prefers to be healthy, though.
exactly, but again, the thing that always separates good athletes from great athletes is consistency. And she has shown that time and time again.
Yeah.
Everywhere around the world, and it's incredible to see it. And obviously, have her in the studio and talk to her and pick her brain about what things she does to stay on top. But again, seeing it happen is still incredible every single time.
Yeah, Tatiana is a really good person, really successful, chasing Tokyo now, Tokyo 2020. I think she can do it. That's my personal opinion, but I think she'll be there. I think she'll be in Paris in 2024. LA.
LA?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? That will honestly be incredible. And I'm calling it now. You know, LA 28. We'll be there. Rollin and I
Let's
were
do
doing,
it.
you know,
Let's
covering
come back.
it.
And we should all dress in white. With the same shirt from 8 years ago.
Hopefully we'll still fit in the same t-shirts.
I don't know. I don't know. They say I can't stay skinny forever, so I'm hoping, you know, it holds out a little bit longer.
I have not grown in about 10 years, so I think I'll be fine. I think I can do it. But yeah, we're gonna come right back here on the line at WPGU 107.1 and UPTV with an update on Gene Driscoll. And we're back. Talking about how I am the show. I did a women's soccer match last night. I was the only announcer. I got there and they were saying I was the show.
But you enjoy talking to yourself, right, Ryan?
You know, I always agree with myself. It was great. I never disagreed.
No debates or anything?
No, I didn't know. It was awesome. I had a whole table to myself. I requested food. I got nothing. But I had a great inner monologue with myself. I talked about women's soccer for an hour. No, 2 hours. And it was great. But anyways, I'm here now. Back in the present moment. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. Gene Driscoll was on here last week, and now the News Gazette, Champaign News Gazette, does a story saying Gene is leaving us. She's heading to North Carolina State to take a big leadership role over there. Not leaving the university for a rough matters. Essentially, from what I gathered, it was just an opportunity she could not turn away.
It certainly came as a real shock to see that news just like 3 days after having her on our show.
And you're on the show, and then, oh, come on.
So I'm glad we got her a chance to speak with her before she leaves.
I think it was that fire she referenced. That fire got to burn inside her. She couldn't turn the
And she
opportunity
said, I'm
down.
not turning this thing down.
Yeah, and can you blame her, honestly? Because look at her career. She's accomplished so much. And from what we were able to tell from the interview, she's still very passionate about a lot of different things. So dreams change. You know, it might not be competing in that sense, but she got a lot of juice left. So
Yeah, she probably would have married mine.
She definitely beat me. So.
And she beat me at 5.1 miles an hour. But yeah, she was a great person on last week, and I was amazed by her interaction with her. She opened up quick.
Yeah.
I like that. I think if she's done documentaries, I think she's been on radio and TV, so this is nothing, and I was amazed at what she was saying. She signed the wall again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, obviously we're on radio, you can't really see it, you know, UPG.
We're on TV.
You can't see it that good.
Yeah.
But the way she signed the wall last week was pretty impressive. She has written here, dream big and work hard, and she signed her name, and she puts Boston Marathon champion. I thought she would just write, like, you know, 8 times, but no, she put every year that she won. So it's like this, like, very, like long list of her winning, and it's almost like counting to 10. You know, this year, 99, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, and then, you know, so on and so forth.
Yeah, what really resonated with me, too, was definitely when she talked about that fire she had for racing. And it kind of inspired me a little bit when she was saying, like, you know, what gives you that fire? And it's like, oh, man, like, I guess I got to do a little bit of soul searching here.
Yeah, man.
Gotta dig deep. And James, you said this show. I'm sorry we got to that point.
No, man, all jokes aside, I enjoy coming here every Friday.
Yeah.
It starts, it caps the week off,
Yeah,
and it starts the weekend off on a good note, so. Plus we have fun.
We do have a lot of fun. We laugh and we throw stickers and we talk about random things.
And Ryan doesn't have to talk to himself during the show?
I'd prefer if I did. Could you guys step out?
Oh, man, okay. I guess I'm just going to have to step down.
No, we have a lot of fun here. We talk about a lot of important topics with a sense of humor. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was quite amazed by Jean. She did talk about the inner fire. That is something I do have for this show because we talk about important topics, and I'm having notifications that I'm hard to hear, apparently. So we'll just crank my sound up. Or maybe I'll just talk louder. But,
well, me too, you know, crank me up too. I don't want to be left out. Will.
But yeah, Jean was fun. She talked about the inner fire. I found that hilarious when she was signing the wall and just like, well, how much can I write? Well, I mean, you have nothing on the wall where you're at, so not an essay or 1,000 words or so. And I laughed when we handed her our nice T-shirts. And her response was, I like being the first guest. I like being first.
Yeah, a quick shout out to your mom, Ryan, for creating the shirts.
Yeah.
Graphic designer, among many other things I'm sure she gets done. But I personally loved my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I will wear that shirt and probably until like it just falls apart. So, I actually just watched it the other day and I'm looking forward to wearing it next week and representing me and the guys and
Yeah.
rolling on what we do here.
Yeah, I have to second that sentiment because I'm actually wearing my shirt right now. I'll have to flash it for the camera in a second here,
You're
but
one guy off the screen and you're wearing the best.
I was, yeah, I was super stoked when they came in last week. Just seeing it looks great. The design is awesome. It makes us look real
Yeah.
professional.
And I will say the image I posted on Facebook today was not staged.
Right.
I legitimately did not plan that. I said, can we have a picture? But I did not plan the fact that she was wearing the shirt.
So do you want to explain who was wearing the shirt and what it meant to you, Ryan?
Oh man, you got pressing questions
You're
here.
getting the feels. Real quick.
No, she's a good person, a good friend of mine. I gave her a shirt because she's influenced a lot of what I do on the show, and I feel like we get very vulnerable at times.
Mhm.
We open up our souls. We talk about our inner fire. But no, she's been right there saying, I think what you're doing is right, and I think it kind of sends a neat message kind of for males, because sometimes guys don't open up. And so,
Yeah, I'm not
Guilty.
like that, though.
yeah.
Well, I can't lie. I'm not thugged out by
Yeah.
any means or hardcore. Pretty
So
soft.
tough cookies here. We have no soft inside of us. We're evil people, but she was just saying, I think when you're talking about mental illness on air and talking about my own experiences of knowing people who have had depression, that kind of sends out an interesting message. And so and that's been very encouraging. I think with this show is that since we're doing such a new thing, this is not something you hear every day. You don't hear a radio show that's talking about mental illness in sports too often, like on an everyday basis.
Very true.
And you don't talk about Paralympic sports. So we're incorporating so many new concepts, and I like the fact that we bring ourselves into the show. So we heard about your refereeing opportunity and how bad you were, and then Will, we heard about you at ramps, and then James, you went back to Kane and did a story, and then with me, I just listened. And thought it looked okay, and I laughed.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen that video yet, make sure to check out our Facebook page. I'm sure you can find it on there. James
Yeah.
definitely put a lot of work into that piece with Kane, and it came out really nice.
Yeah, we've had at least 1,200 views.
Yeah, that was. I still saw it. Kane still brings it up today. It was definitely a fun experience, and again, it was funny and it was fun, but it was also an opportunity to look at things from different perspectives, and that is one of the most. I guess that's what lights my fire, is to really show different perspectives, no matter if it's a Paralympic perspective and being a black person myself, the minority perspective, or anything just different that isn't always mainstream. I think that's good, because if you look at society, and not everyone mainstream, not everyone at the forefront of everything, but if we are true journalists, we should reflect what society is, and it's pretty diverse. So.
Yeah, I heard an interesting quote a couple of days ago, like, society teaches you how to fit in. I guess, yeah. It's like in journalism, we just learn the rules.
Yeah.
I don't go by rules, thank you very much.
We bring a few of them here, our guest friends every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, because they're part of the show. I feel like Tatiana and Amanda McCrory are always part of the show. So they're always welcome on. And Amanda will be doing some fun little project with us. She's going to do a lot for us. And she's been on here twice. James, you've missed her.
I know, man. This is
Skype with her from London.
When your other responsibilities, like, even though I love Rollin, we're all in school. School gets in the way, and life gets in the way, but when I am here, every Friday, or
Yeah.
you know, doing our different segments around campus, it's a good time. So again, I tell people, my mom's telling me, you know, we gotta be more serious. And I'm like, well, seriousness isn't my thing. Yeah, especially not for this setting. Maybe, you know, years down the line when I'm trying to make big bucks, but for right now, different perspectives, good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a good Friday night to me.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick little break here and come back and talk about the show some more. So we'll be right back here on WPGU 107.1 and UPTV. Welcome back in here, Rollin, here on WPGU 107.1 and UPTV. Ryan Wilson, James Boyd, Will Gerard, Andrew.
You're so loud now.
You guys can hear me. We moved the mics around, and now Will has a mic.
Now I have to shout into my mic.
I hope I don't have to shout. Am I loud enough?
You alright, Ryan?
Man, we're sitting like 2 feet away from each other, but you're yelling in my ear.
It's all
this
for
is-
our listeners. Because
Yes.
they listen if they can't hear.
Yeah. And now James is screaming. I'm just sitting here in the middle of the action with that great mic. I can just whisper away and tell a nice story.
I don't think he should ever give this one again. He's a little arrogant, you know?
Yeah. Will cannot stop laughing now. But anyways, we're in week 6, week 7 of the semester. We've had a couple great shows now. We're at the midway points of the midterm season for the semester. So far, what have you guys thought of the show? What have you learned? What's been surprising?
I think for me personally, the most surprising thing is, again, the level of greatness that is right here on campus as far as
Yeah.
sports. And then also just having an opportunity to see the perspectives and hang out, but still in some ways get some professional development.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gone on radio. I did it a couple times last year when I was covering different sports for the Daily Illini, but this is a totally different vibe, different setting.
Mm-hmm.
Being a co-host alongside you and having Will produce, and it's been a fun ride, one that I have definitely enjoyed, as you can see.
Good.
And here.
Yeah, now you mentioned that it helped your professional development. Quite
Yeah.
a nice little...
I share everything that we do on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, nice.
On LinkedIn.
We need a LinkedIn page, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that sounds so old saying it too. LinkedIn, yeah.
I'm on
Big fan
LinkedIn
of
with...
social media app.
I'm on LinkedIn with the other 60-year-olds.
But in all seriousness, it's a way to, I don't know, balance out having fun, but also having an opportunity to grow in some journalistic aspect.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Just like what James said a little bit there, I kind of agree in that how it has helped with my professional reporting in the sense of knowing how to report on athletes with disabilities in an appropriate way, using the correct terms, but also even just, it's been really cool getting to kind of like get to know some of these guys on the track team, getting to know some of the people on the wheelchair basketball team, just build that relationship. I know because we kind of have a special connection with those teams since we're the front lines covering them. So it's really cool getting to go to practice, have those conversations, and just really meet new people. It's not every one thing I love about journalism in general is that you get to meet so many new people. And just so far on the show, we've already had many guests. It's been real cool to kind of branch out, build that network.
yeah, I've certainly not expected... After every show, I'm always posting, like, the show is growing beyond my expectations. Like, I didn't expect to start the semester off with Tatiana McFadden. I didn't expect to have Will Leach on here. Not Craig Spence. Didn't expect that.
I didn't expect Gene Driscoll to be like
Nah, Gene.
the most interview ever either.
2-time Olympic medalist in the house. I didn't know that one until about a day or two before she came in. So we've had an Olympian in here, and I've been very thankful for all the connections we've made. We started off the semester just kind of like a grassroots radio, where we're doing our own thing. We're starting from nothing and going out to being famous. People asking for autographs. I was in my dorm, and these random people were giving a tour. And this one clown, I think his name's James Boyd, said I'm famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny thing is,
My ego is just great.
I ran into Ryan today. I was helping out one of my former coworkers. She was giving a tour to a volleyball recruit that could possibly come here, and she asked me to, come basically make her feel or have her talk to another student instead of talking to a bunch of grown people. And the funny thing is, one of the former coaches for the volleyball team, he asked me, what do you do here? And of course, that I'm like, time to plug the show.
I do nothing.
So I told him about Rollin, and the funny thing is, he was more informed than the average, person on campus, and he talked to her about not only the, in his eyes, the beauties of our athletics program, but also how potent our Paralympic programs are here. So that was cool to kind of plug, her, the prospective student on that, whether she comes here or not. It was just cool to, let her know that their Paralympic sports are there, and we have some great athletes here, and they have great athletes everywhere doing it. And just for me personally, I've learned a lot about just different athletes doing different things, and I am a fan for life now. You got me hooked.
Nice. That's okay. We'll stay here forever. I will not graduate ever. I'll just stay here.
My parents might have something to say about
Yeah.
that.
Money.
They love me, but not that much.
Yeah, Paralympic movement, especially on campus, is definitely a special one.
Yeah.
There's so many different athletes doing different things.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of togetherness in the movements. One thing Craig Spence talked about was covering these athletes as if they're another person, as if they're a able-bodied athlete, obviously, and getting to know them on a personal level. That's one thing I've been kind of striving to do on the show, and that's one thing I love about the show is that we get to know these athletes on the show and outside of the show. We're hanging out with Michael Mitchell in practice, and then he's on the show. And then same with Tatiana. We go to practice, we see her there, we see her beat all her teammates, and then she's on the show. And then we're sitting by Adam Blakeney, her coach, and joking about anything and everything. He's a good guy. I don't think you've met him, James. You need to meet him. He's a good guy. He was
On the to-do list.
He was on here last semester. The one time all of our mics didn't work, so we did a Facebook Live special with Adam Blakeney. Team USA wheelchair basketball.
See, no matter what happens,
Yeah.
find a way.
Right. We do figure it out, and I'm very thankful when an athlete comes on here every time and opens up like Jean and opens up like Tatiana did, even though she's used to telling her story. It's just an everyday occasion for
Yeah,
her.
but I think it's cool because, kind of on what you said, we're not only looking at the accomplishments that they have,
Yeah.
we ask sometimes silly, goofy questions. Like we got to ask Tatiana what was the most crazy food she ever had.
Right.
Like blowfish, I think, or something.
It was. Were you traumatized by that?
I
Yeah.
mean, I was not traumatized 'cause I would never try that, but I was shocked that that she
Yeah.
would try something like that. And then
Yeah.
I'm talking about what her life before, realizing that she was going to be this great
Right.
Paralympic racer in the marathon, and how she actually hated marathons before
Right.
she starts doing. So just things like that.
And then she saw that $25,000 check.
Exactly.
It's all right.
I think it's moments like that kind of make our guests more personable to our audience.
Yeah.
That's right there. I always joke, not joke, but in all seriousness, I think the best stories are always stories about people. And
Definitely.
Not so much about the list and the accomplishments. Yes, we can read that anywhere, but
Yeah.
meeting the person, getting into their insides a little bit, that
Yeah.
always makes me feel like I did something worth being a journalist.
Yeah.
That always reminds me of why I want to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you feel that way. And we had Professor Leon Dash on here. As I mentioned when we played the interview, he's got a great set of pipes, but he's got a mushy inside. And I liked him about that. I mean, he's a great guy. I saw him a couple days ago. Actually, Will and I did at the vending machine. Quite a story.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
hot meetup spot.
What do you want to
You
meet?
get sun chips? What do you get, Skittles?
Yeah, I know. Instead of meeting at Dairy Queen at 6 a.m., let's meet at the vending machine in Greg Hall. But he's a great guy, and I'm glad he came on and talked about his daughter and and experiences she's had of kind of being talked down to. And I'm very thankful you guys have kind of let me bring my own personal experiences on here. Thank you for doing that. But I've tried to approach those topics with humor, because that's how I do it. Not everybody does, but that's how I do it. I think it's kind of funny when somebody thinks like I can't talk, and then I'm like, yeah, I'll take that on my order, please, or whatever. And then they'll just look at my parents and ask how I'm doing. I'm like, I'm great, thanks. How are you? Or the time I was asked if I was special, and my head got really big because I felt very special at that moment. I need to feel special sometimes. But yeah, I think that's valuable stuff to talk about. Like, as Professor Dash kind of mentioned in a lot of media reports, we see the inspirational porn being thrown around of, man, this person can't use their legs, but look at them winning a Paralympic medal. Isn't that terrific? This person has no arms. Oh my gosh. They can win a Paralympic medal in swimming. Duh. Like, I mean, they can do that stuff, of course.
It's not so much about what they can do. It's getting it done in a different way.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm amazed. I mean, you shouldn't be ashamed to be amazed by these people. I am every day. I mean, I don't know how I would ski down a hill at 60 miles an hour and be blind.
Oh, I know. I wouldn't do it. I'm scared and I can't see.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a problem. But yeah, we've explored a lot of interesting topics. I did not expect, leading up to this semester, to talk about mental illnesses as much as we did. I'm glad we did, because I think it's important. I'd like to talk more about it.
Truthfully.
And I know one thing I've told one of my friends is like, this is a sports show. We talk about basketball and stats and numbers and blah. But like, I don't care about stats. I don't care about sports. I mean, we talk about people. And I think that's one great thing. Like, we have these athletes open up to us and tell us how they're feeling, and we feel like a therapist temporarily, and we sit in our chair and do some hypnosis, and I don't know, we don't really do any hypnosis here. We should. Maybe we should. I don't know. But we do a lot of fun things, and as I mentioned in the previous segment, James, you're out there on the front line lifting weights, and Will and I are going up the ramps a couple dozen times.
Yeah, and speaking of ramps, I know at the beginning of the year, and last year we talked about not having Logie on the show, but there's actually a little audio I'd like to play from the head coach himself about ramps, if that's all right with you, Ryan.
Go for it. I don't think I've heard this.
All right, well, you're in for a treat then, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
One morning, I go over and eat breakfast. So one morning, I heard a lot of ILL, INI, looked like pep rally was going on. Looked like one of our teams, we have a lot of our teams working out early in the morning. So anyway, stopped by and just kind of saw the workout that they were doing. I'm working out, my body, being able to use my legs, and it's tough for me to get up there, but to just get up that ramp with your arms. So I was pretty impressed. So from there, I kind of know when they worked out. I think next week we kind of stopped by the same time. So again, it's just good to see, one of our athletic teams working hard like that. As I told them, can't wait till we're doing our job as well as they're doing theirs,
And then we have a great quote from Matt Bushy here, kind of in a response to Lovie Smith talking about ramps.
My first question for you is I saw that you guys have an event scheduled in Gym 1 at the Arc tonight. Could you kind of tell me about what you guys have planned then in terms of getting, that interaction with the campus community?
Yeah, so it's kind of an inclusive awareness week, so they wanted us to be involved in that, and we always love doing wheelchair basketball events to get people included. So it should be fun. We have a lot of the guys that'll be there to be able to jump in chairs and play with people and get some experience.
So what are you gonna do then with the students? Will you encourage them to kind of get in the chair and try shooting from that angle, or what will it look like exactly?
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of open chairs. Students will be able to jump in, and we'll go through the basics of just how to push the chair, dribbling, passing, and shooting, and then eventually we'll get some that'll be comfortable enough to do a little bit of scrimmage work, and then we'll probably have them scrimmage against the guys. We did it during the Illini Frenzy at the beginning of the school year when the freshmen were coming in, and it's always cool to have that happen. The Illini Frenzy wasn't as big as what it's been in the past couple of years when it was the block party, but it was still nice to have that. It's going to be nice to have a second one too.
I think you mentioned that this is going to be your last week of Rams. Could you kind of tell me then, like, do you expect to see the softball team Thursday, and then kind of after this last Rams, what you guys have in store leading up to like the first game of the season?
Yeah, we haven't really heard anything back on softball. We really hope that we do. I know that they've got their training that they've got going on, and it's difficult to coordinate multiple sports into their workouts, so we totally understand that. We just love the idea of reaching out to the different sports, see if they want to be involved, and it's one of those things where everybody can get a workout in it. So we hope it works out. If not, we'll always work for something else. But yeah, they'll have the last ramps in it, and this ramps is the one where it's more mental than anything else. These guys are really going to have to push themselves over being tired, and we've been going really hard on them in the basketball gym, in the lifting gym, and then just with our workouts in general. So they're going to have to mentally push through, which is what they need right now.
So what's the final set look like for the Rams?
We're going to leave that open for the athletes to find out. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think last week Lovey stopped for a little bit. Can you tell me, did he speak with the team at all?
Yeah. So the football team has been getting workouts in around the same time on the other side of the stadium, and Lovey had passed through and saw us working out at the ramps, and was just asking some questions and was interested in it. It was really cool to have him stop by and see it, and then he happened to this past week stop in again and see, and we got an opportunity that all the athletes were coming down the ramp as he was coming in, so we got an opportunity for him to talk with the group, and it's just a lot of different sports things that are connected between the different teams, and he understands the workout we're doing, and we're trying to get better the same as they are, and it's really great that we're all supporting each other in that way.
All right, well, producer Manuel didn't actually cut up that audio as much as I originally planned, so that one's on me. But I'm glad you guys got the opportunity to listen to my conversation with head coach Matt Butchie. He's a real nice guy. I actually talked to him after practice. I want to say it was Tuesday morning. So at the very start of that interview, one thing he mentioned was we talked about an event happening at the Arc, and that actually went on Tuesday night where the wheelchair basketball team hosted students from the university, invited them to get in the chair, try shooting around, playing basketball for a little bit. Unfortunately, no one from the Rollin Illini crew could make it just because of other commitments.
Yeah, classes.
But it was definitely, I'm sure, real enjoyable for them. We're gonna have to follow up with them about how that went. Because I'm sure it was an eye-opening experience for some students who probably didn't even know wheelchair basketball existed that evening. And then even following up, I know he was real excited about the fact that the team got to meet Lovey Smith, and just those kinds of interactions are real cool. It kind of shows that like para athletics is not just restricted to Dres or these teams. Like it kind of does encompass the entire like campus community.
Right. Yeah, it's just part of it. And I know we started this show saying we will never ever talk about Lovey Smith.
And now we've talked about him what, like 2 to 3 times.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he can't help it if he's gonna show up to practice.
I guess. I mean, yeah. Nah, he's been to practice a few times with the wheelchair basketball team, and saw them at ramps because the football team and the wheelchair basketball team practiced at similar times and similar locations at the football field. And so Lovey has shown up a few times and observed for a few seconds and said a few words to the coaches. And
it's really hard to miss them, because they're all out there doing their chants. And when there's everyone just whizzing up and down the ramps. It's really like it's a sight that I'm sure like for someone like Lovey who's just ate his breakfast and just making his way to practice, it's one you can't miss.
Yeah, I just walk up. Oh my gosh, what is going on here?
What are these maniacs doing at 7:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I know. One time we were there, and a staff member of the football field went up to Stephanie Wheeler, the women's basketball coach, and was like, "Are you guys supposed to be here?" Yeah, we practice it every day. Okay, sorry for asking. But yeah, I'm very thankful we get to have that opportunity with them. They're so open. It's fun to go to wheelchair track practice every week and wheelchair basketball practice, see new things, hear new things.
Can you tell us about some of the drills you saw at basketball this week? Because there were a few that really stood out to me.
Yeah, so I was at wheelchair basketball practice this week, as per you, Will. I got there a little bit earlier, but it's alright.
Yeah, he's a little bit.
Yeah, I set my alarm.
More alarms.
I set my alarm way too early. I know that. But yeah, I have never seen this exercise before, but they were intentionally falling onto the ground and then pushing themselves back up. And so I posted a video on Twitter of Michael Mitchell intentionally falling to the ground and getting back up in his chair. And so he would fall on the ground in his chair, still be strapped in, and then maneuver himself back up. And he did that for a few minutes straight, just consecutive times. I was exhausted. And then for like some of the players who could not kind of force themselves on the ground and in their chair, we would see like a volunteer person of the team or the athletic trainer push them on the ground, and they had to spend a few seconds to wiggle back up, and then they'd be shoved back down again.
What about some of the drills you saw with the ball work where they were practicing their hand-eye coordination?
Yeah, so we saw a lot of exercises of two players kind of lined up next to each other, tossing the ball back and forth to each other, using one hand or whatever. And that was quite impressive. I'm sure that's been done in like able-bodied basketball. I'm sure that's a common thing.
Yeah,
But
the videos of them passing the ball back and forth, it kind of like a little bit of a juggling act. 'Cause
yeah,
on one ball, you gotta be ready for the next one to come the other way.
right. Yeah, it was fun to watch. I didn't get hit, thankfully. But it was
There have only been
entertaining.
a few close calls at practice this year.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was at the wheelchair basketball camp this past summer, and I was taking a few pictures over a player's shoulder, and they're throwing a ball around, and one guy had a misfire, and the ball came right at my chair, bounced off my foot plate. I'm okay. He apologized, and I kept taking pictures. I just went on with my day, but they're pretty careful.
Ryan's a fearless reporter. I've seen you actually. Like, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago when we actually lost sight of you during ramps because so what they do is in between their sessions of going up and down the ramps, they kind of have this cool down phase where they're just on a flat level. They have like these trash cans lined up. I'm not sure exactly how far. I'd say maybe 100, 150 feet, and they're kind of going back and forth. And I know I was standing off to the side with James. We were just making a little small talk before we knew it. We're like, wait a second, like, where is Ryan? Did Ryan just leave us and go back to his dorm or something?
Sayonara.
I think James texted Ryan, like, where are you, dude? And turns out Ryan was just getting the best angles. He was down by the trash can, just completely out of our view.
Took a picture of the trash can of James and Will. I was hiding away, but I had some great shots and great angles.
If there's anything I've learned, in some of my journalism classes, is to get those shots, you gotta get real close to the action. And you're certainly not afraid to do it.
I try. Well, I think the wheelchair basketball team knows how much I trust that they're not going to hit me. Because if they hit me, it's not going to be fun for either of us. So I think we're both watching out.
It wouldn't be fun for me at the speed they're moving.
Right. I would never want to be hit by Tatiana. And I know that one. Or Michael Mitchell. That would hurt a lot. But yeah. Always fun to go to practice, and I'm very thankful for how open they are and all the connections we made on the show with GMI, Good Morning Illini with James, and the Illinois Adaptive Athletics, UPTV, of course. Always very thankful they're here. And WPGU 1071. James and Will have been fun. Kane's been on here, of course. Every show we talk about Kane.
So we gotta get a quick little Kane shout out in the final.
Oh, yes. Final 30 seconds of the show. Kane helped start this show out.
He helped you come up with the name as well.
He did. Yep, came up with the name Rollin Illini. Left out the G for a reason.
It's stuck.
I don't know.
There's no going back to the G now.
I don't know what that reason was, but we left it out. But yeah, so this has been another episode or edition or show or whatever you want to call it of Rollin here on WPGU 107.1 on UPTV. We'll have another great show next week with some fun people to talk with. Stay tuned.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Have a great weekend.